Hey math students, it's Mrs. Marcellus and our guest Gottlieb. Today we're going to build upon our previous lesson where we learned to evaluate numerical expressions by applying order of operations. Today we're going to take a look at algebraic expressions. Today's learning objective: students will find the value of algebraic expressions by substituting specified values for variables and applying the order of operations. Algebra is a language of symbols, including variables. A variable is a symbol, and it's usually a letter used to represent a number. An algebraic expression contains at least one variable and one operation. When we evaluate an algebraic expression, we'll be given a value that we'll substitute in for the variable. Then we'll apply the order of operations to find what the expression equals. Before we begin, there's some important notation we need to cover. X is often used as a variable. This can get mixed up with multiplication. To avoid confusion with the multiplication symbol, the times symbol, multiplication is shown in one of the following ways when we're working with algebraic expressions, equations, and inequalities. Sometimes you'll see 3 with the dot, which indicates 3 times x. Sometimes you'll see parentheses around the variable to indicate that it is a variable instead of the multiplication symbol. But most often you will see 3 right next to the variable. When there's no space between a number and a variable, or no space between two variables, that means to multiply. All 3 of these notations mean 3 times x. Well, this all sounds like it's going to be great fun, doesn't it, Gottlieb? Are you ready to try a few? Wow, what enthusiasm! Well, math students, let's begin. In our first problem, we're asked to find c plus 18 if c equals 12. The first thing we want to do is substitute the given value in place of the variable. It is always important to take the time to rewrite the problem with the values substituted in for the variables. This helps you avoid making mistakes. We will write 12 plus 18. 12 plus 18 equals 30. In this problem, we are asked to evaluate m minus n plus 5 if m equals 20 and n equals 7. The first thing we will do is substitute for the variables and rewrite the problem. M equals 20, so we'll start with 20 minus 7 in place of the n plus 5. Then we apply our order of operations, which applies to every math problem. There are no parentheses, exponents, or multiplication or division, so we'll next work with the subtraction and addition. We do them from left to right in the order they occur. In this case, we're going to subtract 7 from 20 first, and that leaves us with 13. Then we have 13 plus 5, which equals 18. In this problem, we're asked to evaluate 4s minus 8. The 4 and the s right next to each other indicate multiplication. Therefore, I'm going to write 4 times s, which is 15, minus 8. Next, I check through my order of operations. No parentheses or exponents, so that means I will do the multiplication first. 4 times 15 equals 60. This leaves me with 60 minus 8. My final answer is going to be 60 minus 8, or 52. In this problem, we are asked to evaluate x times y squared if x equals 2 and y equals 1/8. Let's go ahead and substitute so we can clearly see what we are being asked to do. This means we want to multiply 2 times 1/8, and the 1/8, the y, is squared. We don't want to first multiply 2 times 1/8 and then square the whole thing. If that was the desired result, the problem would have been written like this. x times y, with everything inside the parentheses squared. The first step will be to complete the exponent. That means we will have 2 times 1/8 times 1/8. 1 times 1 is 1, and 8 times 8 is 64. That leaves us with 2 times 1/64. Next, we will complete that multiplication. I will write the whole number as a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. I can multiply straight across and get 2 over 64, which then simplifies to 1 over 32 if I divide both of them by 2. I also could have cross-canceled the 2 and the 64. This will also get me to my answer of 1 over 32. Next, let's evaluate 4a minus 10b if a equals 6 and b equals 1/5. First, I will substitute in the given values. The first part of the problem is 4 times a, or 4 times 6. From that, I will subtract 10 times b, or 10 times 1/5. Since there are no parentheses or exponents, we will look for multiplication or division. The first thing we come across, working from left to right, is 4 times 6, which is 24. From that, we will subtract 10 times 1/5. The next step will be to solve 10 times 1/5. I'm going to write 10 over 1 to make it a fraction. We can divide both 10 and 5 by 5, so we can cross-cancel. This will leave us with a 1 and a 2. Multiplying straight across, 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. This means that 10 times 1/5 equals 2. 24 minus 2 equals the final answer of 22. In this problem, let's evaluate the expression a cubed times b divided by 9 times c, which is in parentheses. It is so important to rewrite the problem substituting in the given values before you begin calculating to help ensure that you don't make mistakes. So let's do that step first. I will write 3 to the third power times 6, and that is divided by 9 times 2, which is in parentheses. Now we can solve applying order of operations. Since we have the parentheses, that is the first part of the problem we need to complete. We'll still have 3 to the third power times 6, and that will be divided by 18. We need to move on to exponents. The next step then would be to take 3 to the third power. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again is 27. We'll replace 3 to the third power with 27, and then multiply times 6 and divide by 18. The first thing that we'll have to solve is 27 times 6. 27 times 6 is 162. That leaves us with 162 divided by 18. 162 divided by 18 is 9. Our final answer equals 9. Admission for a tram ride up the mountain to view the goats is $9 for adults and $6 for children. The expression 9 times A plus 6 times C can be used to find the cost for a group. What is the cost for 6 adults and 11 children? First, we'll start with the cost for the adults. It is $9 for each adult ticket, and there are 6 adults. 9 times A becomes 9 times 6. This will be added to the cost for 11 children, $6 per ticket, times a total of 11 children. We will work with the multiplication and division first. 9 times 6 equals 54. That is the cost for the adults, plus 6 times 11. Next, we'll figure out the price for the children. 6 times 11 is 66. That leaves us with 54 plus 66. When we add those two together, we find out that the total cost for the group is $120. Well, Gottlieb, that sounds like great fun. Only $9 for a fabulous tram ride up the beautiful mountain and the chance to see some of your friends? And of course, it'll only cost $6 for you because you're just a kid. I think it sounds like fun though, don't you? We should go. Well, that does conclude our lesson on evaluating algebraic expressions, so we're signing off for now, math students.